Welcome to my new series. Like Mr. Rogers. I'm going to read it to you guys. Mindset Secrets for Winning. I'll do the prologue today. Oh, yes. Introduction. What makes a person extraordinary? A top achiever, a winner, a champion. For all my adult life, I've been fascinated with the question as I studied how elite performers from every corner of the world became the best in their fields. Here's what I learned. Firstly, all the highest achievers agree with the mental side of training is just as important as the physical side. After winning 7 Olympic gold medals, Mark Spitz said, the difference between winning and losing is 99% psychological. Golfing legend Jack Nicklaus wrote that mental preparation is the single most critical element in peak performance. Yet outside this select group, few individuals specific mental strategy to improve and optimize their thinking to achieve success. While the human body has its natural limits, the mind's potential is unlimited. This has been pivotal for me. Pivotal! By changing my thinking, I transform my life. And so can you. Every day, I apply what I've learned from a lifetime of discovery to create my own success. YouTube! And not just financially. By doing what inspires me, I can pursue what I am most passionate about and shape my own destiny. In this book, I share specific mindset secrets that have made a difference in not only my performance, but also the quality of my life. My goal is to share the key takeaways and mental techniques I've learned over the years. Techniques that I have used to win, so you can put these lessons into practice in your own endeavors. We will explore the important changes I made personally and what I have found the key psychological traits that separate champion performers from the average person. Even more enlightening, you will learn how to use these principles as building blocks to form the foundation of your own success. It's not just about winning, it's succeeding with the fulfillment that comes with tapping the power of passion. This is not your ordinary peak performance book. I'm not very psychologicalist, nor do I hold a PhD in human behavior, but I'm an expert on winning and success. What I know is not based on academic or gleaned simplified from observation. Rather, I practice in my daily life. It's my simple words. It simply works. This is what has allowed me to become extremely successful and judged by conventional measures and what continues to work today. Having dedicated more than 3 decades to the study of personal growth and human excellence, I can assure you that what I'm about to share are the common threads running through every champion, regardless of background. I call them empowerment principles, which I have applied to my career, my hobbies, and even every other aspect of my life journey. The first thing you need to know is about winning is simple. It is. If you don't have the right mindset, then your knowledge, practice, even skills will be rendered ineffective when you need them most in the real world. The key is to develop the mindset of a winner. Your intellectual ability must be as robust as your physical ability. You need to develop a reliable way of thinking that can be applied to any endeavor to give yourself the champion's advantage. The following pages contain powerful ideas and strategies that, if applied, can help anyone become more effective and successful in business, sports, and life. By understanding how to apply these techniques and practices, you will have a roadmap and a well-calibrated compass. As a result, you will be more capable of performing at a high level and achieving your dreams faster than you ever imagined. The good news is that everything you need to succeed is here right now. In fact, I've been here all along, just waiting to become congruent with it. This is not just about self-improvement, it's about self-discovery because you already have the potential. It's a matter of learning how to access and use your own personal power. The meaning of success. Early on in life, success has a certain meaning. For most, success generally means having money, possessions, a house. For me, becoming one of the best stock traders in the world. That's this man. Making lots of money was definitely one of my goals, but money without a purpose isn't anything worth bragging about. My mother used to say, money itself is just paper, good for starting a fire and keeping warm if the world comes to an end. She made me realize that its value that comes from what it can provide or enable: freedom, lifestyle, job creation, philanthropy. Success is not only about winning against an opponent or performing in front of an audience, but winning inside. It's feeling accomplished and purposeful as you live the life you've always imagined. For the first half of my life, I devoted myself to becoming a winner in the financial sense. Over time, I learned that while money is great by itself, it can't make me happy. I realized that I did not want to be just financially successful. I wanted to be happy and fulfilled. Success is about reaching your own goal. Whether that goal is to win gold at the Olympics, be a role model to someone, or play in a local softball tournament. Success is personal I realized that if I couldn't leverage my accomplishments to somehow help others grow spiritually, then I wouldn't have achieved much of anything. Achieving my earlier goals led to greater, more meaningful goals. When I was a young man and first ventured into the world of high finance, my mother wished me success in a greeting card that I've kept framed on my desk ever since. It contains her best wishes, love, and the following words, which have always helped me keep things in perspective. Success. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and affections of children, to learn that the appreciation of honest critics endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know that one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's not how you start, but where you finish. When I was a small boy, I dreamed about becoming rich and successful one day. But my reality at that time was a very different story. Growing up in poverty, I watched my mom struggle and worry constantly about making the ends meet. As a child, I grew up in a difficult and dangerous environment. Life was hard, and I was scared, young, lacking in confidence. Violence, crime, and dysfunction were all around me. My mother, realizing I needed better surroundings, moved us to a small apartment out of the city, in a rural part of the state, where I made new friends and began a new life. I can remember going over to a friend's house for the first time. He lived in a middle-class neighborhood in a home with a finished basement, 25-inch TV, and a fireplace. Ooh, boy, he's rich, I thought. His home had nice furniture. His father had fancy office with a big green leather chair and a glossy leatherwork desk. Later that year, my father took me with him to a meeting with his lawyer. When we walked into his office, the attorney sat back in a big green leather chair. It was tough with brass rivets, just like the one at my friend's house in his father's office. I told myself that this must be what rich people sit in. Like a throne of dignity. To me, it smells success. 20 years later, when I started to have some success of my own, the first thing I did was to go spend $4,200 to buy a chair just like it. You may be saying, $4,000 for a chair? Yes, and I thoroughly enjoyed selling out the cash because that made me feel like a winner. People say winning isn't everything. Don't kid yourself. Losing sucks. Show me a good loser, and I'll show you someone who's making losing a habit. The difference between winning and losing is not just technical ability. Having the right skill and knowing what to do, it's the mental game that really separates the top performers from everyone else. To those who meet now, can't imagine at one time that I lacked confidence and assertiveness and was unsuccessful. But that was the truth. When you grow up in an underprivileged environment, it's often conveyed to you that wealth and success are mysterious gifts from the special group of individuals. I never bought into it. Because I always knew there was much more to life than my current circumstance. This is a story about what I did to find my place in the world and become a winner. If you're young and just starting out, your dreams are attainable, regardless of where you came from or how you got your start. If you're at the stage of life where you dream about reinvesting on yourself or you haven't given up on your dreams, it's never too late to have higher standards. Reading this book just once may not miraculously change your life, but I can tell you that these principles have definitely changed mine. As Jim Rohn, entrepreneur and motivational speaker, said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. In this book, you will find a discipline that makes winners win and dream winners reach their dreams. A journey, not a destination. I didn't start out with sound principles for success. I acquired them over a lifetime of experiences, mostly from my making mistakes and learning from other people who knew things I couldn't yet see. I used these tools and tactics to elevate myself from the depths of poverty to a level of success that I once only dreamed about. Most would agree that I'm about rags to riches that you can find anywhere, starting with only a few grand and a meager 8th grade education. Yep, dropped out of 8th grade. I parlayed the only things I had, a dream and the willingness to learn and persist, into a personal fortune, becoming a multi-millionaire from stock trading by the age of 31. In 1997, I set out to prove I was one of the best stock traders in the world. I put up 250 grand on my own hard-earned capital and entered the prestigious U.S. Investing Championship, a real money investment derby where some of the best businesses went head-to-head trading stocks, options, and futures. The rules were simple. The investor with the biggest percentage return on his or her money after 1 year was won the game. 12 months later, I was crowned U.S. Investing Champion. My stock account was 155% up, a percent return that beat out hundreds of the best money managers in America. Then I started my own Wall Street firm. I I say this not to boast, but because my success has played a major role in how I got to be here, affording me the privilege to be in a position to what I do is my ultimate person, to inspire others. People often ask, how did you do it? I can assure you it wasn't because my uniqueness as a person, natural talent, or some lucky break. It was the direct result of changing my thinking and adopting a mindset that ingrained into me a winning approach. I believe in this process so deeply, I've dedicated nearly 2 years of my life to capturing all I have learned and distilling it into this book you're holding in your hands right now. Consider the possibility that you picked up this book not by accident or coincidence, but deliberately, because you're ready to give yourself permission to pursue your dreams and follow the path you always wanted to take. And if you need an example of someone who started out with less than what you have right now, here I am. If I did it, so could you. The Treasure Chest. A book is a dream you hold in your hand. Neil Gaiman. Blessings can come at the most surprising time in the most unexpected ways. When I was 8 years old, my parents divorced. Life got desperate. My mother went on welfare. When the food stamps ran out, we barely had enough to eat. Many nights I would hear my mother crying in her bedroom. It was hard times. And from a young age, I knew it was not the life I wanted. My mother eventually met Dennis, a man who dreamed of success and promised her a better future. During that time, my mother was the happiest I'd ever seen her. Dennis gave her hope. I must say, he was a really nice guy. Everyone liked him, but he was never very unsuccessful. He sold American Automobile Association memberships from door to door. Dennis used to tell me that his job was not what he wanted to do, but he was getting ready for success. He went to many self-help seminars about all kinds of books and tapes on self-improvement, but nothing seemed to make much of a difference. Most of the time, these books and cassette tapes just collected dust. At the time, I was unemployed and broke, but I wanted to be rich because that's what poor people dreamt about. One day I saw Dennis' stack of books and I randomly picked up Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The title seemed to say it all. In a pile there were many books on real estate, investing, negotiating, and personal development. I thought to myself, this is a stack of how to be successful manuals. It was what I had stumbled upon, a treasure chest, and when I lifted the lid, a glowing light beam from the angels sang, ooh! I started reading day and night. I couldn't get enough. The more books I read and tapes I listened to, the more I become convinced that these individuals everyone could just achieve success. I also came to success that belief that essential difference between Dennis and me. He had plenty of examples to follow, but he never really believed he could do it. This is why he never went from getting ready to actually doing it. In my naivety, of course, I thought that I would make $1 million, bang! But I learned something far more important. There were commodities among all the successful people in the world, a kind of recipe that winners followed. I was actually convinced that if I followed the same formula, I too could achieve the same or even better results. All my life, books have inspired me. The power of the printed word. When I was too poor to afford them, I went to bookstores and stood in the aisles and just read. I even went into libraries, pretending to be a student, using the reference room and photocopies entire books, page for page, a penny a piece. I love to learn and I'm inspired by everything I've read. I've always felt even a lousy book probably has one good idea. One thing I have learned through my experience is that books change lives. It certainly has the case in my own life. This is my 4th book. All 3 before were how to achieve financial success. All of my books are very personal, part of a manifesto, a legacy I want to give my family and the world, especially my young daughter. I want her to know about empowering herself, living with purpose so she can live a full life and have the best chance to help making a difference in the world. I'm also sharing this knowledge with you, like the treasure chest of books and tapes I discovered so many years ago that changed my trajectory. I'm confident this book can make a difference in your journey through life and help you develop your own personal power. Now that I am in my 50s, I can look back on the trail of life and see how I approach things, accomplish my goals against what some might call insurmountable odds. I dedicated most of my waking hours to developing a strategy, a systematic approach derived from studying winners in every field of business to Olympic champions, and applied it to everything I've ever done. My approach wasn't always as refined as it currently is, but the universal formula has worked for me time and time again. Whether I was fighting in competitive karate tournaments, perfecting my skills as a musician, achieving success in business, real estate, and the stock market, playing in sporting events, pursuing professional level photography, writing books, and even becoming a best-selling author, conducting live seminars, and doing public speaking, or more recently participating in the competitive pistol shooting, I am not done yet as I pursue the fulfillment of becoming a Renaissance man. You may think to yourself, wow, all these activities are so different. A broad range of professions, hobbies, and other endeavors. Yes, that's true. I've learned that with the right process, you can take on just about any new challenge and become proficient in a relatively short period, but if you only take your time applying a winning formula to build a championship mindset. Fast forward 35 years from the time I discovered Dennis's books, I am still reading books to inform and inspire me. My personal library contains thousands of titles. I've read them all, some countless times. This current book represents a synthesis of more than 3 decades of study, refinement, and adaptation from personal experience. The wisdom and insights have given me a great foundation and personal strategy for achieving lasting success. My hope is that you and every other person who reads this book can discover just what I know. Just as an acorn has an oak tree, there's amazing potential inside you. It's only a matter of developing the right mindset. Then you too can ignite your inner winner and live the purposeful meaning you were supposed to live. My first set of wins. Even though I grew up poor with many strikes against me, I was blessed to have 2 important influences on my life. My parents, although my mother and father in many ways demonstrated a lot of negative examples, they also gave me some important blessings, and those lessons I chose to tune into. My mother loved me tremendously, and my father always told me to take a shot. He never discouraged me from pursuing my passion, including quitting school at age 15 to make a record with a band, boom, 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 playing the drums. One of my most cherished memories from my early childhood was my mother reading to me at bedtime from my 2 favorite books, Curious George and Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Well, I have very fond memories of Jonathan Livingston Seagull. That's an important and lasting impression. The book is a fable written by Richard Bach about a seagull who is tired of the daily life in the flock just scrounging for food. Jonathan longs to life to learn about it, to truly test his wings and fly. My mother gave me a copy with a note inside. For my son on your 8th birthday, know that you can fly as high as Jonathan did. On my daughter's 8th birthday, I gave her the same book with the same message. At that young age, I doubt you truly understand the metaphor, but now I appreciate the depth and the profound message. One quote in particular stays with me. For 1,000 years we have scrabbled after fish heads, but now we have a reason to live, to learn, to discover, to be free. Give me one chance, let me show you what I have found. This story inspires me as I grew up and now echoes my sense of purpose. Like Jonathan, I have the need to go back to the flock, to tell the others what I discovered. I think back to the kids I grew up with many same disadvantages I faced, who never got beyond their circumstances. This book is a way of spreading the word, like Jonathan Livingston Seagull. To everyone who will listen, all of us can fly high, but it's up to us to believe in our potential. It's our choice whether to stay with the old ways that keep us scrabbling after fish heads or to soar beyond the heights of our wildest imagination. This book is part of my contribution. I'm confident it will provide an example of how to elevate your awareness and bring personal power to everything you do. With whatever you set out to accomplish, there may be physical limits, but the truth is our psychological limits are always reached first. As a starting place, know that your capabilities are limited by your own thinking, not your circumstances. With the right mindset, you become champion of your own life and accomplish anything you imagine. Tomorrow, part 1. Dun, 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 dun.